Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know people have things to do, so I'll keep this really short. I promise it won't go over a half hour, 35 minutes max. um, yeah, many of you folks probably or may have heard of me. I actually am an optometric physician in Northampton, which is sort of more confusion thrown into the eye care industry, but we're basically sort of a glorified optometrist. We do, in addition to what the New Hampshire ODs can do, we do a lot of medical eye, a lot of diabetic eye care and some of the surgeries. But I grew up in Maine and went to school at the University of New England and then went down to Southern College of Optometry in Memphis, Tennessee. I was on a Navy scholarship, so I had to fulfill those duties. And I ended up spending 13 years in the Navy. And my last duty station was as department head for an eye clinic at a naval hospital down in North Carolina. And when we got out of the Navy, my wife and I, when we got out of the Navy, I wanted to move back to New England, but unfortunately the laws were such that I really couldn't practice at the level that we were accustomed to or that I've been trained and licensed to. So we ended up starting a practice in Virginia. And there I got very, very active in the Rockingham County, Virginia Dems and worked very closely with Tim Kaine and Mark Warner, not just with their campaigns, but with them personally, which was great. And I ended up running for a seat down there that historically is actually one of the more famous ones in the country. It was the original seat that Thomas Jefferson held when he was in Virginia as a representative. And this was a big campaign. We had to raise about $50,000 or $60,000 just for this state position. And we had a full-time manager, campaign manager and whatnot, but ended up having children. And when that happened, we really wanted to have them back in New England, wanted to have them grow up in New England and have New England in their blood. So we had an opportunity. A company came along and bought our practice down there. And we moved up here and have loved it ever since. And literally as soon as I could legally get involved here to campaign, after I had my 2 years residence, I went ahead and ran for District 20 down in Seabrook and Hampton Falls. And as you guys probably are well aware, that's a pretty entrenched part of the state. And I'm talking loopy kind of R. Not sort of Romney kind of R, but Trump kind of R. And I did much better than I think it was predicted for me to do. I worked hard. I'm a very goal-oriented and results-driven individual. And so I've been working at that level. I sort of backed off after that. Then after when COVID started, and this is where some of you folks might remember me or have heard of me or my family, but after COVID started, my son and I did a challenge all the way up and down the seacoast from Portsmouth to Seabrook and into Exeter to raise or to get donations for food supplies because the food pantries and the food banks had put out word that they were very, very depleted. And so we took a month off from work and I issued these challenges against these towns. And we ended up over 4.5 weeks or so, we raised about 4,300 or collected about 4,300 items for folks. And we'd start out on a Saturday and a Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning and not get back until about 11 o'clock at night. And we donated to every single food pantry and every food bank in every town on the seacoast. So everybody, we kept the donations local and fed our people and our friends and our family and our neighbors. And that was actually written up in a nice article in the Seacoast Online and Hampton Union. But one of the things that I've learned, and I'm wrapping this up here, one of the things that I've learned when I ran in District 20 is that you can oftentimes talk very rational to these folks and it just, the message doesn't come across. And getting frustrated thinking that I could make a change and make difference as an elected official just sort of morphed into this idea that maybe what we need is more infrastructure building and maybe sort of the behind the scenes sort of stuff in building a viable presence in that part of the state that has for so long lacked any sort of good democratic presence. And so maybe behind the scenes, working as sort of an advisor when I was in the United States Navy, I mean, I was on a million different executive committees and steering committees. So being in an large position is really sort of up my alley, and perhaps a way I can make change at the local level and address New Hampshire issues, not necessarily national issues, but New Hampshire issues, and help build the party basically from within. So I hope that my information here resonated well with you, and I hope that you do attend the caucus and vote for me. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. My phone number is 603-781-0426, and I can put that in the chat. And my email, best email is Dr. Greg, so it's DRGREG @coastalandwellness.com. Thanks for your time.